Hi everybody, this is Josh Culp. We are learning Masechet Bava Kamma. We are on Daf Kuf Bet. And there's some interesting material here about the editing of the Talmud. And I wanted to, or specifically the Mishnah, and I wanted to make a couple comments on that. In the middle of the page, in a discussion about a statement made by Rav Huna, who says halacha k'Rabbi Yoshua ben Korcha v'halacha k'Rabbi Yehuda. Halacha follows Rabbi Yoshua ben Korcha, and it follows Rabbi Yehuda. Where Rav Yosef says there was no need to explain that the halacha follows Rabbi Yehuda. If you don't know the details, go look at the details over there. But Rav Yosef says this is obvious because if there's a dispute in the Mishnah, and then afterwards there is an anonymous voice, the halacha follows the anonymous voice. And I want to explain the ideology behind that, what might be correct about it historically and what might be problematic with it historically. So the idea is that when Rebbe put together the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi put together the Mishnah, he had lots of different voices that would have weighed in, traditions that would have weighed in on the halacha on given sources. And when Rebbe Yehuda put a dispute in the beginning, let's say in the beginning of a masechet, of a tractate, and then later on in the tractate, he had one of those voices, one of those voices is presented as stam, as an anonymous voice. That is Rebbe Yehuda Hanasi himself, hinting to us that he accepted the first one of those opinions and therefore is ruling halachically by putting something together with an anonymous voice. Now this makes several assumptions that I just want to go over. First of all, that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi had intention to paskin halacha, to make halachic rulings in the Mishnah, and not just to present the available opinions, those Tannaitic opinions that preceded him. I think a lot of scholars today think that for the most part, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi's intentions in the Mishnah were to present and to summarize the available material, and less likely that he was offering his own halachic opinions, although that is maybe not sure. There is definitely no way to separate the two. The other is that there is an order within the Masechet, and that the order of the Masechet is meant to teach halacha, and not just because there's an order due to other reasons. Maybe it's the order in which the material is organized, and it happens to be that there was a known dispute in the topic in chapter 2, and let's say there was not a known dispute about the chapter and topic in chapter 7, and therefore he just codified the material that was in front of him. It is a very complicated question. The Mishnah is neither a book with all of the halachic opinions available in it, nor is it a book that has only one person's opinion, such as the Mishnah Torah, Rambam's Mishnah Torah. The Mishnah is somewhere like a hybrid of books with a variety of opinions, but not all of the opinions. It's very hard to tell what Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi's intention was in that editing of the Mishnah. The other thing that I want to notice about is that in the end, the Talmud agrees that when it comes to two different Masechtot, there's no order. So while there might be an order within, let's say, Masechet Nedarim, Masechet about vows, there is no, just because Nedarim says one thing, and let's say Gitin, which in our order, the Masechet of Seder Nashim comes afterwards, just because Nedarim comes first and Gitin comes later, does not mean that you could read those two Masechtot in that way. However, Nezikin, and this I think we know, used to be one Masechet. Today, because of its length, we divide Nezikin into Bava Kamma, Bava Metzia, and Bava Batra. But if you look through, it's really an original Masechet, one Masechet with 30 chapters. And therefore, if you think that there's an order, an intentional order to disputes and anonymous opinions in the Mishnah, that would apply between what today we have as separate Masechtot, Bava Kamma and Bava Metzia and Bava Batra. But it's very interesting debates here. There's a lot of historical debates about the intention of the ordering of the Mishnah, the intention of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi in creating the Mishnah, and really the nature of the Mishnah, which I think is partially what makes it such a fascinating book. It's neither a normative code of law like the Shulchan Aruch or the Mishnah Torah, nor is it like a Talmud with lots of discussions and very long-winded discussions with lots of different opinions, etc., etc. It's a very brief book that sometimes might direct in the right way towards halakha, or at least the way the editors intended it to direct, but oftentimes doesn't seem to function in that way.